Hello, and welcome to episode 41 of The Comic Conspiracy. My name is Ryan Higgins. I am joined by...
Brock Sager.
As always. Mm-hmm. And not as always, normally would be Toby Sidler, but unfortunately he is running a little late, so we've been given the go-ahead to start without him. However, hopefully he will be joining us very soon as we talk about some comic book-related stuff from this past week.
Yes.
Hopefully news that's worth listening to 5 years from now, when we fit issue 200, episode 200, and you come back and you've downloaded them all, and you're like, you know, what was happening in 2012? That was those days when comic books were printed on paper and you read with your eyeballs instead of cybernetic finger implants that just absorb the information directly from your data pad.
I just watched I just watched that episode of Smallville in season 10 with Brainiac and the fingers.
Oh, nice. Man, Smallville season 10 was so good, isn't it?
I'm enjoying it. I'm on disc. I'm on disc 3, and I've enjoyed it so far. I got a little sick of the Lois knows, but Clark isn't telling her kind of crap. But they finally, overcame that obstacle or whatever. So
yeah.
I'm really enjoying it.
I really like the one where they go back, the reunion episode. Where
that was the Brainiac one, where he goes back to school and then he goes
Legion
to the future.
are in that one. The Legion, right? Yeah. That's a good episode.
No, they're not in it.
Oh, they're like he has he goes to the future, doesn't he?
He goes to the future
because he has the ring, but the Legion aren't in it. I'm having trouble remembering it, but I remember they
introduced the Legion in the summary of the episode, but the episodes prior,
right?
Up until it, and what it is Brainiac comes back because he's now joined the League. The Legion of Superheroes.
Right. That's the Brainiac 5 episode.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Right.
So Brainiac 5 kind of is showing him around, giving him the little... was it Christmas story?
Yeah.
Kind of deal. Christmas Carol.
Right.
And then he touches the ring and gets blasted into the future.
Yeah.
Which, God, I'd love to watch that TV show. That'd be amazing.
That was a good episode. That was a really good episode, actually. I'm going to have to rewatch that. We actually got a bunch of emails to read, but because we got so many little news story bits to cover tonight, I think we're going to skip out on email again, but we'll probably do a big email episode coming up, assuming there's a slow comic news week, because I got a dozen or so that are worth responding to.
Okay.
We'll get to this. While we're waiting for Toby, we'll talk about some things that he may or may not have an opinion on, hopefully not. One of them is, some of the stuff is from last week, because we didn't really get to talk much new stuff last week. Mark Miller and Frank Quietly are launching a new title from Image this year called Jupiter's Children. Mm-hmm. I have not read what the book is about because it's written by Mark Miller, so therefore I don't care what it's about. But it does have gorgeous pictures by Frank Quietly because it's drawn by Frank Quietly. So my question now is, Image, will you release a version with no dialogue or plot? Because I just want to look at the pictures because they're by Frank Quietly. This needs to happen.
You know what? I think I remember reading a little bit of a blurb on it because I saw this article and I just started laughing my ass off going, Frank Quietly's doing something that Ryan isn't going to pick up. That can't happen. It actually sounds kind of interesting.
It's something about King Kong, rich Americans, an expedition.
That doesn't sound interesting. It's the concept of like Jupiter Children. I think it's like they carry through time or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. The art looks amazing on it, so I'm probably going to give it a shot since it's Frank Quietly.
Eurozone collapse, 6 billion people, Star Wars, Darth Vader, Prince. Okay, what? American losing power, influence to China. Okay, whatever. Whatever. It's Mark Miller. I don't give a crap what it's about. But it's
basically from what you listed, it sounds like Star Wars, Serenity, Flashpoint, and a couple other things wrapped all in one. King Kong.
Now, here's the question. Do I actually take this book home for my permanent collection? Because, man, I don't own everything by Frank Quietly. I mean, there's a lot of his early work I don't own. And I'm sure, things like covers, I'll never buy a comic for a cover, normally. But if he's doing full interior on this, and assuming this comes out on anything resembling a regular schedule, I don't know. I'm going to have to, maybe this will be my one and very rare wait for the trade, because I do want it, because if Frank Quietly is drawing the whole thing and it's out on it's out on a reasonable schedule, then I guess if it's a trade, it doesn't matter when it comes out. But I'm torn on this one.
Well, I think that's I don't know. There's what we take home and then there's what we read, And then there's what we, kind of comment on.
But I don't read any of Miller. I mean, I've not read a Mark Miller comic since
Old Man Logan, right?
Jeez. I never even finished Old Man Logan. I try to even remember. I can't. I despise Mark Miller.
You know what's funny is I
won't even give the guy. I mean, I haven't read any of his Ultimate stuff past Ultimates 2.
I read Nemesis. It was okay.
You know what? I take that back. I actually read the first issue of Nemesis, and I read the first issue of Superior.
I tried reading the first issue. I couldn't even get through the first issue. It was
terrible.
Nemesis was okay.
To me, they were just like elevator pitch plots. Here's a guy who's got some disease who's a superhero. It's like Captain Marvel. It's like, all right, it's fine, but it was bad. And Nemesis was the same thing. He's Batman, but he's the Joker. Okay. Like, that's fine. I just don't get it.
Yeah, Nemesis was okay. But what's funny is after Nemesis came out, Marvel released just recently that 6 Guns with the guy with the car shooting at the jumbo jet plane or whatever. And I'm like, wasn't that a Nemesis?
Yeah, I'm sure it's all the same.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I'll read it. I'll give it a read, and I'll let you know what I think.
I almost said Frank Miller. Mark Miller and Frank.
Frank Miller.
Did we... Frank Quietly? Frank Quitely. I should force myself to properly pronounce his name.
So we piss somebody off when we say his name.
We piss a
wrong.
lot of people off when we say his name. It's Frank Quitely.
Quitely.
Like quite frankly.
Like quaintly.
It's Frank Quitely. Although I like Frank Quietly. That works too. So, yeah. Other little newsy news stuff. This actually came out today. I think I read this for the first time. Garth Ennis is going to be writing a new Shadow series for Dynamite. Sweet. It's a Garth Ennis book. I will read this. Garth Ennis is awesome. Everything he does is awesome. Except for Jennifer Blood. I don't. Did you even look at that?
I didn't even look at it. Honestly, I didn't look at that for reasons that I don't want to disclose on the podcast.
Okay.
I'll just say this.
All right. I don't know what that means. Garth Ennis, as people listening may know, is one of my absolute favorite writers, and he's he does some garbage from time to time. Don't get me wrong, not the greatest writer on earth, but I do. I mean, he's one of my top guys, and I do love Garth Ennis. And him doing The Shadow that's awesome. My only concern is he on for an arc? Is he ongoing?
Yeah.
I mean, it's an ongoing series, but it's like something like Jennifer Blood. I thought this was like his thing. I thought it was like, oh my god, it's a new ongoing Garth Ennis property. It's going to replace The Boys. But he was off after like the first arc.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize, I must not have looked far enough into it, that this isn't like he has other people working on it or doing it. It's not his book. So I'm like, So I'm not sure if I want to like really get into The Shadow if he's only doing an arc. Because again, The Shadow, I'm not a big Shadow fan.
I'm not a big Shadow fan either. And this harkens back to the time when they were doing all those spirit books by popular artists.
I wouldn't say by popular artists, by well-regarded artists.
Well-regarded artists. But it was, that's kind of what this feels like. So I don't know if I'm going to give it a shot. Initially, I might wait for trade.
Yeah, well, it's Dynamite. Dynamite's different. That Spirit book, though, that was pretty good. DC did a couple variations on the Spirit over the last handful of years, and
I'm going back to like the Kevin Smith, like 1990s.
Oh, the anthology,
1990s stuff.
The anthology series that was that Kitchen Sink. I think it was Kitchen Sink that put that out. Yeah, they did like Neil Gaiman and Alan Moore worked on it, and Mike Allred, and I'm trying to remember who else. No, the one that the Spirit did that DC did, or the Spirit, the one that DC did fairly recently. Yeah, Darwin Cook did a handful of episodes, a handful of issues. There's really good creators on that title. Yeah, I like that a lot.
I just never been a big Shadow or Spirit fan, so
yeah.
We'll see.
Again, I mean, if this doesn't say anything about an anthology, it seems like it's ongoing. But I mean, man, yeah, I'd love to see Garth Ennis do a few years on this. I don't expect it to be as crazy as something like his Punisher work, but if it's as good as anything else, I'm down. I love me some Garth Ennis. All right.
What else we got?
Well, we got some. I guess we give to. Well, we got plenty to talk about tonight, so we can jump in here and throw his 2 cents in when he gets here. Assuming he shows up. I hope he does. But there was a couple big announcements over the last few weeks, both involving DC. Yes. We haven't talked. What's funny? Looking back, we really haven't talked a ton of DC the last few weeks. So
we've been really good the past few weeks. My hate
your Marvel
has been a little down.
Is a little down. You've turned it down to 11. So. But there was a couple big DC things from the last few weeks that made a lot of news. One of them being that DC is going to start adding backup strips back into some of their comic books, starting with Batman and Detective Comics.
With the Court of Owls stuff.
Court of Owls is in Batman, and it's a Two-Face backup in Detective. This is cause of some concern for people because it is driving the price up to $3.99, but is instead of a 20-page comic, it's a 30-page or 28 or 30-page. I don't know if it says.
It goes up to a 28-page comic.
It says 20. Okay, yeah. I'm looking here. I think
right now it's a 20 to 22-page comic. If with the backup, it becomes a 28-page comic book.
Okay, yeah.
You're paying an extra $1 for 8 pages.
I'm looking on the Source press release here for the Batman one. Unless I'm missing it, I don't see blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I don't see a page count here, but I may just be missing it. Anyway, when DC, the last time they did these backup features, some were great. I mean, the Manhunter one was really good.
The Manhunter one was good.
God, what else was really good?
The Question was good.
The Question was good.
One.
Wasn't there a backup, or did Legion just have expanded main front story, or was there a backup in Legion?
There was a slight backup in Legion, but it had to do with Legion characters.
Right.
So
there was a couple others that I really liked. I mean, there was a few
you liked
that
the Metalman one.
Oh, I
didn't like that one.
Oh, I love the Metalman one.
And then Blue Beetle was a backup.
Yeah.
And then I think Captain Adam
the Captain Adam one was really weird.
It wasn't Captain. Was it
Captain Adam? There was a Captain Adam backup in Superman where he was like off in that weird medieval world.
That one was
That was not good.
Yeah. I don't mind backups and stuff if it has to do with the material that we're looking at. If it's a Two-Face backup in the back of a Batman book, that's cool because I don't want to sit there and pick up another Two-Face mini.
Yeah.
I kind of like backups in, universe backups, so to speak. Whereas like stuff that doesn't, apply to that universe is put into something, that's when I think it becomes a problem.
Yeah. I think it just depends a bit on the character. Like I know there was that JSA All-Star had a Liberty Bell and Hourman backup, and they were like kind of like a couple teamed up with Icicle and someone else, and it was just it was a slog every time I tried to read through it. I had such a hard time. One of our friend of ours, I remember when there was a Bucky backup in Captain America, and he was like, "I will pay you an extra $1 to not have this strip in the book."
Oh, that was the chick.
Yeah, there's the girl Bucky.
Horrible.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand those Captain America issues. Oh my god, I stopped reading those backups.
Yeah,
I tried, but they were horrible.
Yeah, I didn't even bother. I mean, I've never liked the girl Bucky. Never did anything for me. So.
I don't know. I saw people bitching that. Oh my god, they're not holding the line at $2.99, and I'm like, majority of DC's titles are $2.99.
Oh, right. It's the ones that aren't $2.99 are the ones with higher page counts. I mean, I've not heard a single complaint about okay, I should take that back. I have heard a couple complaints about JLA because they have the sketch stuff in the back.
Yeah.
I've not heard a single complaint about Men at War, and I've not heard a single complaint about All-Star Western because both of those have backups, and both of those are $3.99. And All-Star Western, fantastic. It's one of the best books that came out of the New 52. If the book is good, people aren't going to complain. I'm not going to lose a single sale on Batman going to $3.99 with another 8 pages of I keep calling him Zack Snyder, of Scott Snyder, Batman backup. The Detective one, I mean, you may see a few people drop off. People have kind of cooled on that a little bit. I mean, that first issue was so good, but people have cooled on the Detective a little bit.
Detective, I've had a problem reading Detective, especially for me, because that first issue grabs you, and then it's kind of...
Well, I mean, I really like Dollmaker. I think it's a cool character.
Yeah.
I need to figure out where they're going with the story. Now I haven't read the most recent issue, so unless they kind of wrap it all up in there, but just kind of move on with the character a little bit, and let's get some, because my feeling was we weren't going to get a lot of 6-issue story arcs, and it seems like some of the books we have and some of the books we haven't. I was hoping to see a little more done in 1, done in 2, done in 3 issues, shorter story arcs, because the whole pitch when I went to that retailer meeting before they launched all this stuff, their pitch was we're not going to write for the trade. We're just going to write the way we want, exciting things in every issue. But it kind of feels like some of the books are...
Well, the thing is
you don't need those 5-6 issue story arcs.
You don't need those 6 issue story arcs. Some of them are finishing up, which is great, but at the same time, I think that, I just finished reading Suicide Squad, number 5.
Okay.
And that book, oh my God, each issue is whoopsh, whoopsh, whoopsh. Guess what? You're fucked at the end. And that's basically every issue.
That's great, though.
But it's awesome.
Yeah.
But it is a contained... You can see it's written for a trade format. There's going to be a point where we break the story to go to do something else, which is fine, but it's consistent every issue.
They even had one of their little editorial backups in the back of the comic saying, "Hey, did you notice we had 4 characters die at the end of the issues? I mean, obviously Batman and Green Lantern didn't die, but this is part of what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring the excitement, the last page shock, that cliffhanger back in the comic books." And I've said this for years and years and years and years and years, and it's one of the reasons I'm a huge Jeff Johns fan. He was one of the only creators that utilized that month in, month out on almost every title. Clearly you have end of story arcs. Clearly you have issues that kind of, have a nice, soft, happy ending. But almost every issue written by him had some great cliffhanger ending. And too many books, and I don't want to bag on Bendis too much here, but I've seen so many books end just in the middle of a conversation. Yeah. If it does not feel like it's written for a single issue, and a lot of these books where there's kind of a lot of talking heads and a lot of back and forth, Bendis is pretty. He does that a lot.
Yeah.
Over at Marvel on Avengers, it just feels like I'm just not getting a lot out of one issue. I don't need the next issue. But when Johns has kind of brought that back, and DC's brought it back, and I do see it more often for Marvel. I see this sort of let's end on some big cliffhanger, because you need that. You need the thing to grab you for the next issue. It's so important.
But I think what you're saying back to that is that we need that, but we don't need that 5 times in one story. That's 6 issues that you're reading, and it's like...
No, you want a I want a cliffhanger ending at the end of... Look, comic books basically... It
depends on the story.
Well, yeah, but there's no way to... If you are writing for a collected edition, then you're not going to have it. If you are writing for a single issue, the last page or the last panel of every issue should be something to shock the reader to get them to grab the next issue. Every page or every issue. This is the way it should. I'm okay with some endings, but if issue 3 at the very end is just sort of like Spider-Man hanging up his laundry to dry, and he's like, "Oh, tomorrow's going to be another day," but it's not the end of a story. No, that's not an ending. I want to see Spider-Man and Green Goblin fucking duking it out at the end of the issue, and Spider-Man about to fall and be impaled on a spike. You're like, "Oh no, how's he going to get out of it this week?" I mean, it may sound dumb, maybe we're just kind of jaded because it's of course Spider-Man's not going to die, but that excitement is still there.
You want what we got out of Smallville, you'd have resolution at the end of an episode, but then they'd show you something else.
I mean, you get that in a lot of shows.
You want that, but you want that little teaser. You want that little, because Johns didn't necessarily shock you at every end, but he teased a lot.
Yeah, and I think that's so important, especially for people that want to stay on these books long term. So, and it sounds like Scott Snyder does want to stay on Batman long term. So, kind of going back to where we were talking about.
He's been doing great work.
Yeah, Batman's been incredible. Actually, part of this, these backups are the start of what is going to be the Night of the Owls, a Batman crossover, kind of the first crossover, the New 52. Again, I've heard some people complain, crossovers, but they happen. They're going to happen as long as it's in 4 or 5 Batman books, and that's it. That's fine. If there's 12 miniseries that launch and you get no, that's ridiculous. Yeah. I don't expect...
If the Bat family participates in a crossover where we get kind of that, what was it, Bruce Wayne murderer kind of feel.
Yeah, but I don't think we're going to get every Bat-related book, because that's like 12 books or something like that. I just don't see that we're going to get that level of books. But I could see like Batman, Detective, and Batman and Robin crossing over.
Oh, Batman and Robin's been great.
Yeah, Batman and Robin.
I've really enjoyed that one.
Yeah. That's Peter Tomasi writing that, right?
That was a Green Lantern Corps.
Yeah, Peter Tomasi and Patrick Gleason doing the art, if I'm not mistaken. Those guys are fantastic.
Yeah.
So, we have this.
The backups are fine. They relate to the. I think that in the end, the backups are fine. They relate to the content in the book. It's an extra $1. Oh well.
And it could last 6 issues. It could last 12 issues, and it could last forever. But I don't see. So much of the fight has been this drawing line of $2.99, and we have seen proof that the higher price point has killed sales on comic books.
Yeah.
Not everything, but when you have your big major crossover or Grant Morrison on whatever, or Bendis on a huge title and they're $3.99, like okay, they're going to sell regardless. But we've seen a lot, especially at Marvel, a lot of these $3.99 books that could have been better, but it's just panned just across the field because of the price point. It's like, well, it's not worth $3.99. DC, I can't imagine them doing this. I think what they'll do, and we'll talk about this in a few minutes, but like they're doing with their ongoing titles, they're going to end some and start some new ones. We'll probably see a number of backups in Batman for a while, and then they'll say, hey, guess what? Now all the Superman books are getting backups, and all the Batman ones will end. And they'll go back and forth and kind of find if anything sticks, if anything really works, then they'll keep it. But,
I think that's a great way to give us the miniseries instead of releasing a brand new book at $2.99 and trying to hawk 3 issues of something to people that may or may not pick it up. If it's in the back of a title that they already get and you're paying $1 and you only pay that for 3 months.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll see. Well, let's get into this.
Yeah.
So DC has canceled a number of titles.
You mean our cancellation list from like the beginning of the announcement?
Yeah. DC has canceled.
These are the books we literally picked that would be canceled.
Oh. Yeah. DC has canceled a number of titles, and they're adding an equal number of titles. In kind of what we were just talking about. My feeling is that DC is going to sort of have like a ongoing slot of rotating miniseries, like this Penguin and the Ray and Huntress. These will go in and out as new things come and go. I hope DC doesn't ever exceed more than 1 or 2 miniseries a week, because again, hit the bag on Marvel again, but so many miniseries, and Marvel has cut almost all their miniseries off the table.
Well,
they've cut a huge part of their schedule.
Wolverine and the X-Men, that Alpha and Omega mini, I actually read it, and it wasn't bad. I enjoyed it, but a lot of people didn't pick it up because they already got Wolverine.
Another mini.
It's just another mini.
Right.
And they were like, I just picked up Wolverine and the X-Men number 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Why do I want to pick up Wolverine and the X-Men Alpha Omega 1?
It was okay, but it's not. Why is it not in the book? For people that haven't read Wolverine and the X-Men, they basically relaunched Wolverine as like the headmaster of the Jean Grey school
for gifted individuals.
And him and Quentin Quire, who's one of the great Grant Morrison X-Men characters, finally good to see him back. There's been this kind of animosity between the two of them, because he is a villain, and so Logan's trying to kind of help him out. And so they're like, well, we're gonna have their big fight be in this miniseries that's not in the main book. It's like, what? Why? Like, that's ridiculous. Like, it makes no sense. Yeah. And I mean, it was okay. Like,
I enjoyed it better than I enjoyed the actual.
No, I didn't. I mean, I thought it was all right, but I didn't like it anywhere near as the main book. The main book's hilarious.
Oh God,
the main book's so funny. But anyway. So the 6 books being canceled are literally probably the 6, with maybe 1 or 2 exceptions that we figured were going to be canceled. Blackhawks, Hawk and Dove, Men of War, Mr. Terrific, OMAC, and Static Shock. I actually kind of thought Mr. Terrific and Static Shock would stay around a little bit longer. I didn't have them pegged as the first ones out, but
I definitely had OMAC pegged, and we definitely had OMAC and Hawk and Dove pegged.
I don't know. I thought Hawkman would go first. That book is awful.
Jeez, what about Firestorm?
Oh, Firestorm's pretty bad too, but they'll keep those guys around.
Okay.
It's hard to kind of say any of these are really unexpected, though. OMAC, it's unfortunate. I knew OMAC was going to get canceled, but I loved OMAC. I love OMAC.
I've heard good things
great.
I've heard good things about it, but I'm not a fan of the art, and I'm not a fan of Dan Didio as a writer.
You know what? And this is not the Dan Didio that wrote Outsiders. This is the Dan Didio that I've never read before, because it was pretty fun. It was kind of a Hulk-like book. It's about this guy who Brother Eye, who in the previous universe was a creation of Batman's, kind of sent down to kind of watch over. It was like the satellite that watched over like all the heroes on Earth and everything. He just gathered all this information. It became sentient and did a bunch of bullcrap and became a huge threat. I don't know. It's not clear who Brother Eye is working for or what he's working for in this one. Well, I mean, the original Brother Eye, I think this is actually more of a throwback to the original concept of Brother Eye, which was part of OMAC. So I don't think they're tying this in with Batman, because this is like an old Jack Kirby book from the 70s. This seems like it's more closer to that, and it turns this guy just into OMAC, which is kind of this Hulk-ish sort of being. And he's fighting, what the hell's his face? From Checkmate.
Right. Max Lord?
Maxwell Lord, yeah. Maxwell Lord's running Checkmate. So, it's good. And it's very, very Jack Kirby influenced, which is why I know it's not going to be popular. Blackhawks, it was G.I. Joe. It didn't do anything for me.
I enjoyed it okay. Like, the first issue was okay. It was good.
Yeah.
Like, I was hooked. But then it's just kind of been so I can understand why this book was...
Yeah. Hawk and Dove, we'll talk about more of that in a second.
Yeah.
Men of War, again, I thought it was all right. Mr. Terrific, I actually kind of liked the first two issues, but it just didn't do anything for me. Static Shock I thought was terrible. I thought Static Shock was bad from the start. So the books that are coming out and being replaced, see, this is a case where we're trading up. We're trading up in a huge way.
Yeah.
So they wanted to try some new stuff. I give it to them. They tried new stuff. Well, here's what we're getting. Batman Incorporated by Grant Morrison and Chris Burnham. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Big, huge book. Earth 2 by James Robinson and Nicola Scott, which is the Justice Society. It's an Earth 2 Justice Society back to what they were doing before. Here comes Toby. The Justice Society's back on Earth 2, apparently.
Yeah.
It's this is, or they never were not on Earth 2. This is the old school Justice Society. Is it going to be great?
It sounds interesting. I mean, the Justice Society, we talked about this earlier, there's kind of a stigma with Justice Society where it's like, that's your dad's Justice League.
Yeah.
Kind of feel.
Yeah.
So them titling it Earth 2, I think, is giving it,
Yeah.
has the potential to give it this new breath.
Yeah. There's Toby.
Yo.
We're just talking some the cancellation and the new DC books that are coming up.
Oh yes, Terrific is gone.
But yeah, Mr.
T is gone.
Yeah. OMAC. Weird. Okay, Blackhawks, Hawk and Dove, Men at War.
Blackhawks is gone?
Yeah.
Yep.
Aw.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, actually.
Mr. Terrific, OMAC, and Static Shock. So any of those, none of those real surprises, huh?
Mr. Terrific, kind of.
That's the only one that I thought was maybe. I hoped OMAC would stick around because I really liked it.
Yeah.
Mr. Terrific, I thought would stick around longer. The rest really.
A little surprised they didn't let Blackhawks live a little longer.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Well, they're all going to be showing up in other books and stuff. So
Yeah.
the characters will be there.
Yeah. The rest of them, not a big surprise. Yeah.
But the ones coming up, Batman Incorporated by Grant Morrison, going to be huge. Earth
Ongoing?
2, yeah,
Huh?
yeah. Earth 2, James Robinson and Nicola Scott. It's a Justice Society Earth 2 book.
Huh.
So that's going to be huge. World's Finest by Paul Levitz, George Perez, and Kevin Maguire. It's Huntress and Power Girl trying to get back from this Earth to Earth 2. Earth 1 to Earth 2.
New 52 to Earth 2?
Yeah. So that Power Girl that was in Mr. Terrific, I guess is Power Girl.
Yes.
So she's trying to go back
That's
home.
why I read that book.
Oh, jeez.
Dial H, which is a takeoff on the old Dial H for Hero concept written by China Meville. I can never pronounce his name.
Meville.
This is a bold new take on a cult classic concept about the psychological effects of an everyman who accidentally gains power to become a hero. The old Dial H for Hero had a dial where he would just... It was like an old rotary phone dial, and he would dial it, and he would get different superpowers. So I'm not sure where they're going to go with this concept, but yeah. GI Combat is just a war anthology with some pretty cool creative teams, including Justin Gray and Jimmy Palmiotti from All-Star Western. And The Ravagers, which is the new Teen Titans Superboy. It's a new group of characters. It's kind of like the old Ravagers, like Superboy and the Ravagers. It was like a 90s book that was really awful, but so it's Howard Mackey and Ian Churchill. This is Howard Mackey. The 90s are back, baby, at DC.
Yeah. Ian Churchill from All those Image books, isn't it? Yeah.
But I mean, Teen Titans been good. Superboy's been good. So I'm willing to give it a shot. For me, I mean, GI Combat, we'll see. But that's 5 new books on my list, and I was getting one of those prior, so that's a gain of 4 for DC.
I'm getting 3, at least. Dial H Incorporated and Earth 2. I may pick up the GI Combat, but I'm not big on the other 2.
World's Finest, you off because Paul Levitz has killed you with Legion Secret Origin.
I don't know. That whole World's Finest stuff, it's
a Power Girl and Huntress team-up book by George Perez and Kevin Maguire. How do you go wrong?
Now, is it them always, or is it like an arc and then it's like Superman and Batman and then it's like
that's the thing.
Batman and Green Arrow?
It does not say.
Because that's the thing is like the DC presents
that would actually be awesome though. I didn't even think about
like
that.
A rotating cast,
like a rotating cast of like the old like the Brave and the Bold.
Yeah, like Batgirl, Supergirl, and
yeah.
Because that's the thing is if it's something like that where it's a rotating kind of cast with story arcs, I'd be interested in it because I've liked the DC Presents Deadman.
Yep.
And I want to see who they're going to do next.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That would be a really cool. See, I just assumed this was just going to be like a Power Girl and Huntress team-up book.
I'm suspecting, first arc.
That'd be a great way to, again, like you said, the DC Presents, to just get other characters out there to see if anything strikes a chord. So
yeah,
that's awesome.
Because I know that Huntress is...
Make it happen, DC.
Huntress is... I've enjoyed the Huntress miniseries. It's been, good.
Yeah.
So, we'll see.
Well, I think we can now officially state that there are 3 more books being canceled by DC.
Yes.
Deathstroke, Grifter, and Hawkman. All because they're all being taken over by Rob Liefeld. Rob Liefeld is taking over writing and drawing Deathstroke.
Goodbye, Deathstroke.
And he will be co-plotting Grifter and Savage Hawkman. Now, look. I've heard Rob's a nice guy.
I've heard nothing against
the guy personally. I'm not a fan of his art. I'm not going to boycott this guy or anything like that. But it's just a simple fact of the matter is Rob Liefeld books don't sell. That's totally his name is poison to most creators. This is not personal in any way, shape, or form. But I mean, this is kind of like what the hell was that guy's name that took over X-Men after Grant Morrison left? Chuck Austin. Where you put him on X-Men, it's going to sell because it's X-Men. Yeah. But you put him on anything else, and no one's going to buy it. This is sort of the same thing where Rob Liefeld... So I kind of wonder if they're giving Rob Liefeld the these are our next 3 books, but we want you on our team, so finish them off, and then we'll put you on another book.
Well, I find it interesting they're letting him write.
Again, he's not a writer.
Yeah, so, but they have a lot of artists writing in the New 52.
Well, he's co-plotting. I don't necessarily think
he's writing Deathstroke. I believe he is writing and drawing Deathstroke.
He's writing and drawing Deathstroke.
Completely.
He's co-plotting Grifter and
Hawkman.
The second his art turns up in Deathstroke, I'm done.
Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, it's my last issue of Deathstroke because there's no way I'm following. But it's a little unfortunate because again, Rob Liefeld is a huge New Teen Titans fan. Fan. It's like his Deathstroke. He wanted to do New Teen Titans. That's where he came up with Deadpool. Deadpool is a takeoff on Deathstroke. I think he may actually. I mean, there's a chance he could probably write a pretty damn decent Deathstroke book.
Yeah.
I can't do his art. I just can't.
No.
We were talking earlier. Mark Miller and Frank Quitely are doing a book together for Image, and I was like,
they own it.
Well, yeah, but it's like, can I get a version with no words? Like, I don't want the Mark Miller writing. I just want the Frank Quitely.
Well, that's just personal for you, though.
No, I know. But this is I'll give Deathstroke a shot because I want to see what he does with it.
We'll do what we did with Hawk and Dove. We'll read that first issue.
Yeah.
Didn't you even read 2 issues?
No, Hawk and Dove?
Yeah.
No, I couldn't. I couldn't do it. I could barely get to the first one. First. And that, I mean, he wasn't even writing it either. But again, would a different artist have made it a little more tolerable?
Yes.
I mean, it was pretty rough.
Yes.
And I like the hell's his name? I like the writer on that book, but Sterling Gates. Sterling Gates? Yeah, Sterling Gates. So. But I just couldn't get into it. So
it's one of those things where, like, especially with Grifter, we'll see if I keep that title.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't.
No, Grifter hasn't been Grifter to me yet.
I've enjoyed it so far.
I've been reading it. I don't know if I've been enjoying it. So,
Yeah, I got to catch up on Grifter and Voodoo. I've read the first 3, I think, so I need to read the 4 and 5. But again, I had no interest in Grifter prior because, again, not a big Wildstorm guy.
Well, I don't
it's
know.
totally different.
I don't know. I think they kind of screwed it up.
Well, it's a real. Well, I don't say totally different take on the character, but it's different.
But it could have been very, very cool.
Yeah,
I mean, they could have tied it in with the whole, military history, the army history of DC Universe and stuff like that. Kind of how they integrated some of the other Wildstorm guys, and how far would have been. What's the other guy?
Deathblow.
Deathblow would have been not
Team
so
7.
far. Yeah, Team 7 would have been very far. Like a Team 7, Blackhawks history, that would have been cool. I mean, they could have done a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of cool stuff.
Well, I don't know if you saw, there's going to be some, the Daxamites are starting to show up, so they're going to be in Grifter, Voodoo, and, Superman of all things. So the Daxamites are going to be, one of the bigger new alien threats. Because I think it was on Bleeding Cool, they had this post, maybe you saw, Brock, where it was there's all the same alien languages being spoken in, all these different books. And then there was another... There's all the trying to take the kids. That's all in Teen Titans and the kid books. But then there was another plot that's running through a lot of the books. So DC's already sowing the seeds for lots of kind of possible crossovers and possible.
Well, they've been doing a really good job so far with just kind of characters dropping in to make guest appearances. Where it's like Green Lantern pops up in Voodoo.
It seemed like issue 3 and 4 had a lot of crossover. We're to throw big characters in the little books, which. You got to do it, you have to do it. It's cool.
And it's like with the Frankenstein.
I actually really liked that issue of was it Green Lantern that was in the Green Lantern was in Voodoo, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was the last one I read. That was actually a pretty good issue. I liked it a lot.
Where Kyle just pops in. Yeah, it was good. But it's one of those things where you also have they had that mini crossover this month with Frankenstein and OMAC.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where I only read the Frankenstein portion of it, and I was like, okay, cool. I didn't need to read the OMAC.
Right.
But it's one of those things where it's a crossover that you don't have to get both.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Well, I think we got one last thing to talk about here, and then we'll do some random picks. I know Toby, I think, assuming you got to read the book you wanted to read, I think there's something you wanted to talk about tonight.
Okay.
But we'll do that during our pick.
All right.
So, but the last big news, kind of probably the biggest of all of this, really. I mean, if anything, is this new possible DC logo. DC may have changed. Is in the process of filing a copyright and trademark.
It's a very fugly logo
on a new logo.
I rarely use that word. Rarely
say it's fucking ugly. It's okay.
It's freaking
This new logo. I got to give them the benefit of the doubt that this probably is a cool looking thing in animation. When this is in front of a movie,
no,
it the colors come down.
No,
so it is what it is for those that haven't seen it, and we'll post it on the site. It is the letter D, but being pulled back. I think it's supposed to be kind of like a page being turned, but it looks like a sticker being peeled off. And the right side of the D, the round side of the D, is being revealed to show the letter C. So it's like DC, and then it's DC Comics and DC Entertainment. I mean,
now is it DC Entertainment that's taking that? Maybe DC Comics will still have to.
Well, there's both. See, my initial thought was maybe this is for their video game department because they hired the guys that did Batman: Arkham Asylum, and they basically got them working on every DC game being made. These guys, Rocksteady. So I'm thinking maybe this is their video game and movie. This is a DC
If this
Entertainment.
is their video game logo, it's dumb.
But I'm not saying that's any better.
The logo's dumb.
The logo's not that
Who
great.
Who designed the logo, by the way?
I don't know.
Retards.com?
Dang.
It looks pretty bad. But I'm actually fairly happy with the current one.
You know what? The swoosh, I believe they call it, that was registered in
swoosh one.
It was 05. A lot of people hated it at first. I don't remember hating it.
But it's a good update to the original or the older one that everybody is used to.
Yeah, where's the star?
We don't need. I don't need the bullet. I don't. I'm fine with them kind of getting away from it. But this seems weirdly corporate-y. It may just be those color tones because there's a version that's coming that's the colored version.
Oh, is it? But it looks like bubblegum to me. Like something I'd see on a bubblegum stick.
Not even no, it's not color. I mean,
it's pretty dull colored.
Yeah, but I can't even imagine a color changing this at all.
What's the general consensus been?
I mean, everyone hates it. I mean, a couple people are oh, it's actually okay, but most people hate it. And again, I think it's Here's my problem. I think it's a little too clever. It's not clear what it is. Like, your brain kind of knows what it is if you're looking at it, but I don't think if you showed this to someone, and you took out the DC comics, if you showed this to someone and to be like, what is this? What does this say? I think it's a stretch to see DC right away.
Yeah. No, it's the DC logo, the 4-star one, the bullet one or whatever, that was the bullet one. And then there was the swoosh one, and then there was the original
There was all sorts of other logos before, but
the thing is the logo fits. If the logo fits, it fits. But if it doesn't, it doesn't. The swoosh, people are like, oh, this is ugly. But it incorporated, everyone knew what it was, regardless of, the change. Everyone knew what it was. This, it doesn't look right. It looks literally like a parent company of DC Comics.
It looks like a Band-Aid.
It's like the parent company of DC Comic Books is like, okay, this is what we want our corporate office building to have on it.
Right.
Because if you drive by and you see DC Comics, the little swoosh logo, you're going to be like, they make comic books there.
I don't think so. I think the original, or the current one, does have a certain demand of respect at this point. I mean, it's been in front of Dark Knight. It's been in front of a lot of movies that are good right now. It's some TV shows,
and the animated version of it, like they have,
I think it's
films
great.
Is great.
I think it's great. Yeah, I don't think they needed to do this, but
don't forget that this logo is being used on
everything but condoms.
Man of Steel.
What's that?
Man of Steel.
It's being like applied to everything but condoms.
Cheese in the forms of dips, spreads, and sticks. Milkshakes, dairy products for making milkshakes, preparations for making milkshakes, prepared meals, prepared cooking meals, prepared frozen meals, all included in Class 29. Oh, I don't know what that is. Coffee, tea, cocoa, and artificial coffee. Rice. Dude, I want DC rice. Okay? Like, that's awesome. I want DC.
There's going to be little Batman logos on each little rice thing. You mean?
Promoting the goods and services of others via computer and communication networks. Let's grab some random words here. Edible oils and fats. I want DC lard. Okay, I really want DC lard.
Like the Crisco version of DC.
Partial length and clips of motion pictures. Let's see what else we got here. What is this? Publication of text and graphic works and others of online features, articles, novelizations, scripts. Comic books. They should put them all into those. Strategy guides, photographs, and visual materials. Amusement park services, amusement park rides, live or pre-recorded shows and or movies. Wow, this is everything. This is
except
great.
condoms.
Oh, hey, and motion pictures down at the very, very, very bottom.
Could this be a weird rumor that just kind of caught fire?
Well, it's very possible that they're just like, we're just going to trademark this thing. We don't have to. They don't have to use it.
Yeah.
I think that's a good bet that they may be like, well, we like it, but we just want to hold on to it.
Let's try and trademark it. If people like it, then we'll think about going with it. If they don't like it, then we'll just we know it doesn't work.
Yeah,
because they ran into the problem with the swoosh logo with the shoe company DC, the DC shoe company, where they were like, well, the DC shoe company is infringing on our trademark rights by using their their logo, but it ended up that they were infringing because they didn't register the star logo, that little swoosh logo.
I don't know.
So.
Yeah. Although the DC, the skateboard company, it's quite different though. It's just the D and the C.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
But that's the thing is DC saying DC had to pay them
No,
out
really?
for the swoosh one. Yeah.
that seems weird.
Yeah,
they
really?
did. According to how it was set up, they did. Who knows?
Bizarre. Well, I think that's it.
Is that it?
I think we want to talk some.
No, you wanted to duke it out on the radio here.
Duke what out?
Duke it out.
Your other reason why you hate Big Bang Theory, which is amazing.
Well, what's the other
Yes.
reason?
I'll throw a little more hate on Big Bang Theory. They dissed my boy Ryan Reynolds, saying that internet famous superstar nerd icon Nathan Fillion would have been a better Green Lantern. Of course, you know that. Nerds. Okay, nerds. Let's talk.
Hey,
nerds.
they love Nathan Fillion.
Nerds. Let's have a conversation here. I like Nathan Fillion. Nathan Fillion's no, he's not a friend of mine. Nathan Fillion's a good actor. He's a cool guy. You got to get over him, though. You got to get over him. The sad fact is he's too old. I mean, it's really sad that that's the fact. But he's admitted, he's like, I'm too old. I'm like, they're not going to hire me to do these jobs. Like, thank you, but no. Like, Nathan Fillion, you guys need to get over him, okay? Seriously, all you Whedon Knights out there, and all you Joss Whedon heads, and all you Nathan Fillion for Wolverine.
Is this story going to be here tomorrow?
Nathan Fillion, like, you should play Darth Vader in the new Star Wars. You know, like no, Nathan Fillion cannot play every role that's ever been made.
I'm sensing a fire to start here tomorrow.
I wasn't in reference to the Nathan Fillion comment. I was in reference to the comment that comes after that one.
Oh, they just said they didn't like the Green Lantern movie, proving they're even worse nerds. Proving they're even worse nerds.
How are they even worse nerds? This is a show that is in bed with Warner Brothers and pimps DC so much. The New 52 has been pimped on this show so much, and they diss the Green Lantern movie. That is awesome. Everyone should be watching this show now.
No.
Including your lame ass.
Incorrect.
You know, I have to agree with these Big Bang nerds that I wasn't really for Ryan Reynolds to be Green Lantern.
You know, I actually read it.
But I wasn't for Nathan Fillion either. My pick would have been Chris Pine.
I could totally see that.
Chris Pine would have made my day. If he was Green Lantern, and
I could see that.
And Evangeline Lilly as Blake Lively's part.
I'm not saying,
dude, I would have been like repping like Ryan is right now to hire Chris Pine at this point.
I'm not saying Ryan Reynolds is a great actor, and I'm not saying he's the best or anything like that. I think he did a fine job for what was provided for him, and they fit the role. Someone actually, I think I was reading Bleeding Cool, and I've read an interesting comment, or it was on Twitter. I remember where I read this, but someone said Nathan Fillion was perfect for the role, Ryan Reynolds was perfect for the role because they wrote the role for Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Like, this was written kind of with his personality in mind to a degree, and it played off his style well enough. And if you gave that to someone else, it may not have worked at all. And I think...
Well, you couldn't have given that crappy movie to anybody else to do. I still don't understand. How does your brain work that's a good movie?
Chris Pine.
For
the sequel.
There are good elements to it. I enjoy it. I'm not saying it's a great movie. I'm saying it's an enjoyable movie. And I think part of it is it gets a really fucking bad rap. I think it's way better than people make it out to be.
You love underdog shit, don't you?
I think it's way better than
we could replace some words here. It could be like me talking about Daredevil at this point.
Yeah, I think it's way better than people make it out to be. It's not as
Isn't that exactly what I said about Daredevil like 2 podcasts ago, or last podcast? Exactly the same.
It's not as good as I hype it up to be, but I like it. I like it more than I should. I'll totally admit that, but it's not as bad as people make it out to be. People are really overreacting, and I think it's just because it was so thrown in everyone's face, and when it was just kind of mediocre.
Hey, I tell people all the time, you want to watch Green Lantern? Find that 4-minute trailer, watch the shit out of that thing. That's the Green Lantern movie. Because that trailer is awesome. That is the best Green Lantern film I've ever seen.
That's like the Birds of Prey TV show. Find the original teaser trailer for it, which was like a 2 or 3 minute, or it might have even been 5 minutes. Best thing ever, man. You watch that thing, you're like, this series is going to be rocking solid, right? Dead on, right? You watch the series, oh no, it's not like that. But yeah, the original Birds of Prey trailer had even footage from like Batman Returns in it, and it just made you even more excited. Yo, dude, it was so awesome. Yeah. It was like, it had like the Batmobile going, and Batman is gone, and like it goes like to Wayne Manor, it's like empty and stuff, and they talk about the daughter and stuff. They have footage of like Catwoman, Batman getting it on, and then they show the Huntress. So like it was a pretty dope trailer. Actually, it's still my highlight of the whole show. It's the trailer.
I've still actually never watched Birds of Prey.
Don't watch it.
I want to one of these days.
No, don't watch. You know how big of a fan I am, and I even think 2 out of the 3 castings were pretty darn solid on it. But
if your friends are telling you not to, don't.
But they should have had some writers. Actually, if they had like Chuck Dixon to write the show, it would have made my show. However, they got a bunch of people that obviously didn't know the characters, didn't care about the comics, didn't care about the history, write the show. Some things happened a little too late in the show, but it just never took off.
The Birds of Prey, there's 3 shows that I kind of want to actually watch one of these days. Birds of Prey.
Borrow it? I have 2 copies of it.
Dang.
You have 2 copies?
I'm a big fan, even though the show sucks.
Birds of Prey, the original The Crow TV show.
With Mark Dacascos.
Is that his name?
Yeah, the guy who's like the villain in Hawaii Five-0 right now.
I watched like an episode or 2.
Brothers with the Wolf.
And I think it's really bad, but I'm not sure. And then the other one would be Blade. Yeah.
Oh, you want to borrow that too?
Blade, written by Jeff Johns. He wrote some. He wrote some of those episodes.
It was so bad.
I watched the pilot in like an episode or two, and I was like, I don't know if this is bad.
Yeah, it's in that weird kind of just because we love the material. It's in that weird
the first
middle
two Blade
ground.
movies were so good. I love the first two Blade movies.
I say the first
third
one.
Blade movie.
Ryan Reynolds. yeah.
He was pretty good as
He was probably the best part of the third one.
He was pretty good.
What's his face checked out? Wesley Snipes.
Wesley checked out.
He was
yeah.
barely in that third.
Well, for a long time there was going to be a spin-off with Ryan and Jessica Biel's character of that. Yeah, but that would have been cool.
Yeah.
All
right, Toby. Let's talk your random pick of the week here. I know you've been kind of. I think you've been dreading this, but let's hear it.
Well, I don't know. I might still be dreading it. I don't know. I'm not.
Userama gave it a 9 out of 10.
I don't think it's 9 out of 10.
Comic fans are saying this is the best this character has ever been.
It might be the best this character's ever been. I don't know. Like, okay, here's where I'm coming from.
What is the book?
What is the book?
Yes, we haven't even said what the book is.
Oh, the book is Scarlet Spider.
Now, you are a big Scarlet Spider fan.
Yeah, see, I'm going to start losing a lot of cred here on this podcast. After defending, like, Daredevil, now I'm going to defend Scarlet Spider. I'm going to lose a lot of cred.
Green Lantern, Speedball, no difference.
Well, Green Lantern at least is really good in comic books.
Daredevil was good in comics, too.
The only thing I got to my credit is Batman's attached to the Outsiders.
Well, look, I love the original Scarlet Spider. Not that the stories were any good. I just kind of liked that there was a war machine to Peter Parker's Spider-Man. I just kind of liked that there was like an equal, and it has a little harder things to go through. I kind of just enjoyed that. You know, I'm going to get trashed from this too. I actually like the costume. I like the hoodie.
I know a ton of people that like the hoodie.
Yeah, I love the hoodie. You know, that's all I wore in high school and mostly still wear today. I just love the hoodie thing. You know, I like the colors. So I always liked the character. I never thought he was great. I just always liked the character. He's one of those weird level characters. I just always like grifters. I have a soft spot for him. Bunch of these kind of B-level characters I always liked, and Scarlet Spider's one of them. And then there was that cool team-up book where Scarlet Spider teamed up your team, the New Warriors, which I really, really liked. And I thought he fit in perfectly in that world too. Yeah. So, and then became the horrible thing where they said he was a real Peter Parker, and then they made him the real Spider-Man, and then fans were like, what the hell is going on? And then they say, oh, we're fucked up and let's kill him off and then brush it away like it never happened. And then Marvel comes and announces a new Scarlet Spider book. And I'm like, okay, it better be Ben Reilly, but it's not. It's Kane. Kane, I never liked.
Kane is the I don't know.
He's like the messed up. He's like the messed up clone from the clone. Like, I have to be honest. I never really cared for the Clone Saga for obvious reasons. But he's kind of the messed up clone. And what's that? Whoever did him, he made him Jackal. Yeah, he kicked him out. And he wanted to kill him because it's a failure and all that stuff. So in this book, he kind of has a second lease on life. Like, he lost his scars, and Brock, you probably know better than I do. On Spider Island, something happened. With Kane.
Oh, Spider Island? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, something happened somewhere down the line.
I wasn't paying attention.
He doesn't have the scars anymore, and he lives again. And the book is written by Christopher Yost, who I have a big soft spot for because of X-23.
He does a lot of the animated stuff.
Well, that's where he started. Like, X-Men Evolution, him and Greg Kyle that's their big start, right? Because of that show, they started running most of the animation storylines for all the Marvel stuff afterwards, Craig Kyle created X-23 for the Evolution cartoon, not for the comics. That's where she actually first appearance was from the cartoon.
Dude, she's like Harley Quinn for X-Men.
Yeah, she just started there and she came over later, So and then he wrote like a lot of the X-Men. What's that? The new class, the new
X-Men,
Young X-Men, and then. What's the one we really like from the 80s? New Mutants. He wrote the New Mutants.
Yeah, before I think Abnett and Lanning are doing it now.
Yeah, they were writing for a while, right? So I always kind of enjoyed his work. I always liked it. It was never like top of my list, but always enjoyed it. So saw his name on it, and And Stegman is drawing it, and I think his art style is very much like Paco Medina, who I love. He's kind of like almost like Paco Medina, not quite, but I find his art very, very enjoyable, but it's not quite Paco Medina. So I thought I was going to really love this book, and then all those crazy reviews came out that were like, oh, this book is going to be awesome. In fact, we sold out before we even got a copy here.
Yeah.
I had to borrow this copy from a friend of ours here in the store. Thank you very much. So I read it, and I don't know what the big hoopla is about. I mean, the book is cool, don't get me wrong. I find it way more interesting than Grifter, so... I do want to see what happens next, but it almost reads like a Frank Miller book. Like
what?
Yeah, it does. It's like I'm alive. I was a bad man. I did all these wrong things, and I can't, help these urges inside me. It's like, but now I'm alive.
Yeah.
And then you turn the page, and I'm alive.
Good lord.
So
it's got a Frank Quitely homage.
What does it?
Image with the bullets flying from We 3.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that kind of does look like We 3. That's really weird.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to think of the book. Basically, it goes that Kane is back and he doesn't have the scars. He has a second lease on life, and he wants to do good with, but he has all these bad impulses. Like he saves his grandma crossing the street from this car. But
he's half naked.
Is he having? Oh yeah, he's being a pretty boy.
I picked it up.
He's being a pretty boy, but then he kind of loses it. He kind of yells at the grandma like, "What the hell are you thinking? You could have been dead." And then he realizes because the way he stopped the car, the person that was driving the car shot out of the car and is like totally injured, and he feels bad about it. So he kind of runs away. So I guess he's trying to learn to be a hero, even though he's actually really, really just wants to go away from it all. He just wants to go to a beach and have some alcohol and just
So this is Hulk trying?
I guess I don't know. I don't know what to make of it yet. Obviously the storyline is going to be that he's not going to go to that beach that he wants to go to. And
do you think maybe some of the people's reactions and reviews are just because it didn't make them bleed out of their eyes when they read it? So they're like, "This must be the best thing ever," since it wasn't terrible. I guess so. I mean, because of the whole bad Clone Saga history, right?
Yeah. But here's my problem. I do not care for Kane. I really do not. I mean, I read Spider-Girl, and Kane was actually kind of cool in that one. He's
a good main character in that, yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of like a teacher, watcher.
Yeah.
And, he kind of redeems himself into that book. And, so him doing it here feels a little odd to me, but I'll see where it goes. Yeah. I'm excited for the next book. I just don't know what to think of it yet. I'll probably tell you in about 2 or 3 issues. I can't decide now, is my point. I need to read a couple more issues.
I mean, this seems like one of those books, so I'll read the first handful of issues and I'll forget it exists.
No, but
it'll be canceled at issue 12.
No, those reviews that they're giving to this book, they should have given it to Punisher. When I first read Punisher, I was like, dude, this is like the best thing ever, right? I mean, it's kind of like that's what I should have given Punisher, not to Scarlet Spider. Scarlet Spider, a good B-level start. I'm not gonna say no. I mean, it's a really good B-level start, but it's definitely.
Well, I'm surprised we sold out of it.
Well, it's because Ryan only ordered 3 copies.
That's true.
I ordered
after the subscriber, he had 1 copy left on the shelf, and he put my pick on it. So of course we're sold out of it.
I bumped my orders for number 2, and I ordered the second print of number 1. So let's and hopefully we get more first prints. I'm willing to. Hey, if it's good and if it sells, I'm down.
Well, it's an interesting take. It's a fresh take on the character. It's almost like the 52 version of Kane.
Yeah.
And we'll see where it goes. I like the art, and the writing is cool.
Yeah. I jump in here with mine real quick. Another one from this week, actually. I've been a on and off again fan of the IDW Transformers books. They have restarted them, relaunched it under Transformers More Than Meets the Eye is the first ongoing, and the second ongoing is it Robots in Disguise is the other one? Yeah, that sounds right. Robots in Disguise. So they're basically launching the Transformers universe into 2 different directions. A few weeks ago, they killed, quote-unquote, Optimus Prime.
Again?
He died and is no longer Optimus.
He must be
no longer Prime.
That must be the most common thing for Optimus to do is to die.
Yeah,
it's like every major story, Optimus has to die. Just because it's almost like, oh wait, the public accepted him dying once, we could just kill him over and over and over and again.
Well, that's the joke of it. He didn't actually die. He rejected the Prime, and now he's reborn as something else. I don't remember what the hell they called
Supreme Prime.
Because they officially defeated the Decepticons. The Decepticons and the Autobots are now hanging out together, and it's like the war's over.
Oh,
so so they're done. So now they've gone
what
back,
they're writing about.
They've gone back to Cybertron, and so basically what happened is.
Someone trying to start the war? Is that what the story's going to be about?
Of course, there's a bunch of, the Decepticons are still kind of being dicks.
Yeah.
The Dinobots are like, fuck this shit.
Dude, I can't wait for the Dinobots to show up.
Yeah, don't mess with my Grimlock.
I know.
Yeah.
Part of them are staying on Cybertron, and part of them are leaving. They go out into space, and there's thousands of Transformers out in space that left, all the neutral Transformers that have left over the millennia, and they're kind of trying to track them down. Let me see the thing here. Rodimus is going off to go search for the lost ones, and then there's a group that's staying on Cybertron. So, it's weird. I go back and forth on whether I like the Transformer books from IDW. I'm not a huge Transformers fan, but I do like the Transformers. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of the fiction on this is going way over my head because I haven't read all the years of Marvel Comics. I never read the UK stuff. And this is taking place off of, hundreds of issues of continuity. And the real heavy politicalness behind the Transformers, it's like, dude, I just want to see you turn into a truck and fucking punch something in the face. like
an action book. You want a Transformers action book.
Punch somebody in the face?
Sure.
Okay.
Like there are great parts to the Transformer books, and this was a good first issue, although there was a lot of exposition and a lot of dialogue. It was kind of we're getting two very clear places that we're going to go. One group out here. One group is basically Legion Lost. I mean, the book ends with a transmission from the future. They're like, don't open the coffin. Don't let them take skids. Don't go to Delphi. Don't look in the basement. And for the sake of Cybertron, for the Cybertronian race itself, please don't.
Feed them after midnight.
And it crackles out. So
otherwise, they'll multiply from their backs. So they're little balls jumping out.
They're clearly going for like a Legion Lost style here, where half the group is lost in space because they take off and the ship just fucking explodes and is shot to the other side of the galaxy or whatever. So half the group is lost looking for all those people, and the other half are trying to rebuild Cybertron. So it's a cool concept, but
Star Trek.
I hope the politicalness and it's just like, oh my god, there's so many fucking Transformers and they all kind of blend together, and they're really bad at I love in Legion the superheroes when they have the name tag,
the little just brand, boom, poof, this is who it is. You don't even need to read it,
and their power.
Yeah, you don't even need to read it. You can just read their name.
Right, I need that on every issue of Transformers because I'm like, dude, oh my god, I can't tell any of these guys apart. It's cool, but I can't. I am recommending this book because I do like it. I don't want it to sound like I don't like it.
No, you're only recommending this book because of one cover was a homage to Justice League.
It does have a great cover. One of the covers is an homage to Justice League International #1, which is the classic Kevin Maguire group shot. So it's so good. But it is a really I know I did like this book, and I'm excited for Robots in Disguise too. I want to check that one out. So yeah, I go back and forth on Transformers, but they got me with this first issue. They got me with the last first issue. And I stuck with it the whole series, even though I kind of drifted in the middle, but it ended up strong. And I actually kind of like the Death of Optimus Prime stuff, so, yeah.
You sure you want to recommend this book?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Robots in Disguise. Go ahead.
You're weird. I'm actually going to recommend Invincible, the Robert Kirkman. I forgot who the artist is on it now.
Is it Brian Ollie?
I think it's Brian, yeah. Volume 15 of Trade came out last week, and Get Smart was the title on it.
Yeah.
So,
it's Corey Walker.
Walker now?
Yeah. Ryan
Kirkman book, right?
Ryan Otley's. What am I thinking? Ryan Otley's something else. Yeah, go ahead. Yes, Robert Kirkman.
No, because I've really enjoyed the Invincible series. It's consistently been just a really good kind of superhero book.
Not set in the Marvel or DC.
Not set in the Marvel, DC universe, but has a lot of influence from the big two, where you have the Guardians of the Globe, which is representative of the Avengers of the Justice League. You have characters like the Astonishing Wolfman that shows up, the Brit, a lot of characters come.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Ryan Utley is the current artist, right?
Yeah, it's the current.
Okay,
artist.
yeah. Corey Rocker was the original artist. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know why I was questioning myself on that.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Yeah, this is kind of funny. Did you guys read the article on Rob Liefeld's guide on creating what's his own characters? It's taking a B character from the Marvel Universe and add the words death or dead to it.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
I think I've seen
That's his knockoff version of everything.
But
I'm so far behind on Invincible, so I need to catch up.
You know what? Do
you like this new volume? Was good.
This new volume was good. I like it's it's consistently good every time. Just like Walking Dead is consistently good every time. I only read it in trade because it's one of those books where I came in late. I didn't really want to get into the single issues.
Yeah, that's fine.
But the trades are a really good way to get in and read them. But wonderful series. I think the first trade with that first artist
Walker,
was a little was okay, but once
they're getting the hang of the book. I mean, Invincible, for those who haven't read it. I mean, I'm so far behind, so I can't talk on current arcs. Right. But he's Spider-Man. He's Spider-Man, and his dad's Superman.
Yeah,
but his dad's a villain. I mean, that's sort of
his dad becomes a villain. He has the same powers as his dad, so it's kind of like he's Superboy.
Sure,
Spider-Man kind of mix. He's
versus evil Superman.
He's trying to find his way in the world, and it's not tied down by the restrictions that Marvel and DC has, where it's like
people die.
People die. People get their
they don't come
faces
back.
punched through.
Yeah.
Like Walker Otley does an amazing job. I think it was a great team up with those two on this book. But Invincible is really, really good. I should recommend Invincible.
Sweet.
So, 15 volumes. It'll keep you entertained for a little while.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Go ahead and wrap this episode up. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll be back next week for another episode of the Comic Conspiracy Podcast.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one next week.
It's a big one.
It's a big one.
Why
it's
is
a
it
meeting
big
of
one?
life.
42.
Yes.
If you want to listen to this episode again for whatever reason, or all the previous episodes, or episodes of the Geek Box, which is our other podcast we record here, or episodes of the Comedy Button, which is a really popular podcast that we have nothing to do with, but is also hosted on our site, you can go visit www.geekbox.net and go talk to people on the Talkback forum there, forums.geekbox.net. You can go to Brock's blog.
ConspiratorBrock.com.
ConspiratorBrock.com. How's that working for you? You doing good?
It's doing okay.
Get some hits?
Getting some hits, yes.
Getting your 5 cents on Ad Plus? Or
I got
AdSense?
like 2 cents last month.
Sweet.
I'm looking up to 9 cents total.
Nice.
Waiting for that $100 payout that I'm going to get in like 2055.
Nice.
So-
Toby, do you pimp anything? We good?
No, we're good. Yeah.
Follow Toby on TobyXI
Yeah.
on Twitter. Follow me, Ryan Higgins Ryan. Charlie, who's been on this podcast numerous times.
He broke down?
It's his name, Insanity Chaos. He
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
is like, he's like,
No,
I
he's
gotta,
back.
He's like, I got to get back on Twitter. I got to actually use this. So
Man, am I like the last holdout?
you are. You can
Why
follow.
do I have to have a Twitter
Well, I don't know
account?
if you're the last holdout because I'm on it.
You never use it.
I'm just on it, yeah.
Yeah.
Occasionally I go read a couple of things, but yeah.
I'm on it all the time. So you can follow me, Ryan Higgins
I don't
Ryan.
think I understand it quite to the way you understand it yet. I guess I'm getting old.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's it. Is that everything? If you like digital comic books, which I know some of you people like,
Which I've actually been abusing now.
your girlfriend has been buying some digital comics.
My girlfriend wanted more comics, so
Nice.
we're doing them digitally. And I must say,
Assuming they're not Marvel or Dark Horse, you could support us through the store. With
oh
them,
yeah,
so.
my son actually likes Tiny Titans.
Yay.
I bought the
See,
first.
look at it. There.
No, I read it to him, and
Nice.
he likes it. So like the digital,
You know your son's like 6 months old, right?
yeah.
He probably just likes the colors.
Probably likes the sound of Brock's
When he
voice.
wants to put it in his mouth, I know it's good. Which sounded really, really bad.
Oh, I know. On that note, digital.comicsconspiracy.biz or just go on comicsconspiracy.biz and you can see the link on the top. Buy some digital comics through us. We get a little kickback every time you do, and that's awesome if you give us money because money keeps the store in business, which keeps the podcast in business, which keeps the comic book companies in business, which gives you more comic books to read and spend your money on. It's an awesome circle, and we all profit. So, except for you. But you get good comic books. That's better than money. So, money can't buy good comic books.
What?
Money can't buy good.
You are not making
I think
any
you should
effing
just
sense.
stop. You should just stop.
Okay.
You should just
Okay.
stop. I think you're digging yourself a hole there.
Yeah, every time I just like blab on randomly till yeah.
Wrap this shit up.
We're done.
Wrap it up, box.
It's done. We'll be back next week.
Oh, and I apologize for being late.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah,
All right.
we don't.
We won't fire you this time.
All right.
All right. Peace out.
Cool.
Later.